Good day. Yeah, still on the issue of preserving our health. Another very important thing is knowing what to avoid. Especially when you live in a resource-poor country where the healthcare available may not be too exhaustive. That means you can't always get all you want. It's very important to take steps to preserve your health. It's even more important to avoid using your money to get stuff that could actually, put your health in danger. And so in the list of things to avoid, perhaps number one will be smoking. We're already in an environment where the air is not so clean. It's full of pollutants from industrial activity. So already the average person in Nigeria has already been exposed to fumes pretty much like a long-term smoker. So you worsen it by going ahead to use your money, your hard-earned small money, to go and buy cigarettes and expose yourself to all the problems that cigarette smoking causes. Especially cancers and long-term lung disease. So that's smoking. The other thing next on the list would probably be alcohol. Again, you're using your money to buy poison. There is a big debate now about whether alcohol, whether it should be pasted on drinks, the fact that alcohol causes cancers. So it's established now that alcohol causes cancers. So again, it will be in your own interest to avoid alcohol. Another one that perhaps appears innocent, but which is also causing a lot of trouble, is the various preparations that we apply on our skins. Mind you, the skin is the biggest organ in the body, so the things we apply there easily just find their way into our bloodstreams and can cause problems. So people who are applying preparations in their skin trying to enhance their appearance, they need to be very careful. You need to be sure that these preparations are actually prescribed by doctors to treat different conditions and not just out of the whim. Because I was talking to a classmate recently. I was telling him about the escalating levels of kidney failure and people needing dialysis, and a lot of them were attributable to these preparations that people put on their skins. Another thing to avoid is medications that are unprescribed, medications and concoctions. In Nigeria, it's common for us to look out for one another, and so people will give advice, whether wanted or unwanted, about things that they think will help whatever challenge we're dealing with. I think it's very important for people to be very careful about using all these preparations and concoctions that are not prescribed by doctors. A lot of them, they may appear like they're being prepared from herbs and safe things, but people mix a lot of things into these concoctions, and they are given at quantities that are not, that have not been tested for their safety profiles. So you may actually be exposing yourself to very toxic substances in a bid to find a solution to the problems you have. The advice is that all these things should be avoided, and if you have any medical questions, the medical questions are best directed to people who are qualified and trained to offer good advice, proper advice for the different health scares and health challenges you might have. Thank you. My name is Dr. Elvis. I'm a specialist general practitioner. My practice straddles Australia and Nigeria. Thank you.